parliament, we are the most important arm of this government. Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow the courts to legislate from their benches. Mr. Speaker, Article 11 is very explicit about respecting African traditions and cultures. Mr. Speaker, when I see the Supreme Court, which supposedly is supposed to be constituted of men and women, well learned, cannot lead this country to making us believe that lesbians, gays, queers, and those likes are supposed to be given end space in this country. Mr. Speaker, that is not African, it is an African, and there is no religion which ascribes to any of those. Mr. Speaker, it's high time this parliament expressed itself in all ways, in all media houses, in barazas, Mr. Speaker. We must condemn that ruling by the Supreme Court. And Mr. Speaker, it's high time the Attorney General of this country went to appeal this ruling, because those 5 judges who passed this kind of judgment, Mr. Speaker, he favored a group of people that is going to encourage other groups. Mr. Speaker, then we should have the Mungiki, we should have Al-Shabaab, we should have rapists, we should have murderers, allowed then by the same Supreme Court to form alliances, to form associations. Mr. Speaker, when I look at that bench, none of them is less than 40 years. Mr. Speaker, what are they telling our young children? What are they telling the generations? Mr. Speaker, I'm now been made to believe that the former president of USA, Donald Trump, did not support this. Neither is Museveni. Mr. Speaker, I agree with speakers here who are saying we should not just be made slaves because we need funding from the West. Mr. Speaker, this thing of us being told to, before we are given money from IMF, from World Bank, we must admit, we must accept these laws. This is strange to us. Mr. Speaker, we must tell them. I know they force us GMOs, and we know the reason why they did that. Mr. Speaker, now they are here telling us we should have a man and a man marry each other. Mr. Speaker, I can't imagine myself seeing a man and having a had-on. Mr. Speaker, that is against African tradition. I must see a woman and feel like that. Mr. Speaker, I am a watcher and I'm a fan of National Geographic, which has documentaries. You see male animals being attracted to females, fighting to death. I have never seen a male animal raising to satisfy itself sexually on another male animal. So what are they telling us, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, this country, and I want to hear the leadership of this country speak against this. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I think the president of this country should write immediately to the Attorney General to appeal this ruling. It cannot be bearable. Yes, Kenya is a Christian nation. It has Muslims. It has all denominations. But Mr. Speaker, our constitution is supreme. Article 11 explicitly said it. The Ashpal guy spoke about it, his commission, the bombers 1 and 2, they were against this. How can we then, 2023, admit the gays and lesbians of this world to rule this country? Mr. Speaker, on this seat where I sit from, I am telling people who I represent from Mavoko, if you see gays and lesbians, tell them to be wary of me, because I'm going to tell you what you are going to do with them. So our Kenyans, we cannot allow that, Mr. Speaker. We must condemn this ruling by all means, even if it means us calling those judges to apologize to Kenyans and say they judged and they ruled when they were not sober, Mr. Speaker. Then is when we are going to agree with their ruling. However, Mr. Speaker, this House has a role to legislate and make laws that befit this country. Let's not forget our mandate. Let us stand by the virtues and
Honorable Joanna Ngino. Speaker, thank you also for allowing me to ventilate on this. I just want to say from the onset